join us on our vision board workshop. My light does not like me today. You know how that is with technology, when it just keeps turning off and it makes no sense, because yesterday it was just fine. Yeah, you see, something's up here. Something's up, but that's okay. Technology happens. That is why we love it. But we have other options. Okay, something's really wrong with my light, but okay. So a vision board. I had been talking with Anne already, and she had mentioned a couple of questions about her vision board because she'd never made one before, but she saw in my example that I had put that it was very broad. So I want to ask, first of all, who here, and you can just put in the chat with or wave, there's little waves or there's little hearts that you can do, or raise your hand if you're on the video. Who here has done a vision board before? Keisha, I can see you. Have you ever made a vision board? Put up your hand like this if you did, so I can see, yes or no?
Yes, I did a vision board before. I never did one to this extent.
Okay.
I did one last year with a few little things in mind, and it was very successful. So this year I'm like, I want to do something with more vision, and I actually want to create a real one that I can look at every day.
Okay, perfect. I love that. Who else? Who else has made one? Anne, you said you kind of made one, but not really.
Yeah. Last year, I just kind of wrote down things that I wanted to accomplish in a little notebook. It wasn't really a vision board.
That's good too. That's good too. All right. Who else has made like a real physical vision board? Has any of you made them? No, never? Okay, perfect. I love it. So, but obviously you're interested in them, and that's why you're here. So let me share with you, just before we start, just a little bit of the theory behind it, because there's not a lot of, is there going to be a replay? Yes, there will be a replay. That is why I'm recording it. So you can listen or not. If you need to leave, that's fine. I will post this later. But behind vision boards, basically what people look at, there are visualization techniques and also a manifestation. So you might have heard of manifestation before. Keisha, do you mind if you could mute yourself?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. No, you're good. You're good. Everything is fine. We're all friends here. So manifestation basically comes from the law of attraction. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that, but if you want to listen to the law of attraction, that's okay. I look at it from a biblical standpoint, as in what you ask for, you shall receive, right? And so when we ask for something, when we put it out there in the universe, somehow, and we don't know the science behind this, but we know that it works because it has worked for years. Somehow the planets, God, you know, the juju out there, the good vibes, they all start to align and make the things happen that we are envisioning. And I was talking to Anne about this already, we don't always have to know how that will happen. Because, hey, you could have, when you were a kid, you could have said, I want to be a fireman when I grow up. And somehow this kid, when he grows up, he becomes a fireman, right? It's happened to a lot of people that want to run a marathon, that want to get healthy. They say, I want to do this. I want to do this when I grow up. I want to have $1 million. They don't know how they're going to do that, but somehow they will get there. And so that is the science or the logic behind a vision board. So there's different ways to make them. And there's not really like one certain way. It all depends on you. Because, for example, Beate will have a very different way of visualizing things than I will. Monica, you're going to have a different way of visualizing things than Keisha does. Emily, you're going to have a different way of visualizing things than Sonia does. And so I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is how you're supposed to do it, but I'm just going to give you a couple of different ideas that we can then use to develop while you're here with me, or even just by yourself, because this is not something you're probably going to finish within like 30 minutes. This is something that you should take about an hour or even 2 to sit down, think about properly, and then manifest onto paper, or even manifest onto the computer, which I'm going to show you in a little bit as well. So the two different types of vision boards that you can obviously make are a physical one that you have on paper or a digital one. So I'm going to show you examples of both, and these are just mine, okay? Like I said, my stuff will be very specific to what I like to see. It does not have to be the way that you want to have it. If anybody has any questions, now's a good time. So any questions so far? No, no questions? No questions? While I'm getting my vision board down for you, so you can see what made happen last year.
I guess when you say that you can see this as like biblical, for me is God will give you the desires of your heart. And
Absolutely.
It's been very true for me. But then we have to be very active to pursue that. Otherwise it will not happen, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you might even want to put that on top of your board if you want to. I used to do that on my first boards when I started experimenting with this. I would put a lot of biblical quotes on it, just, you know, to remind myself and ask myself, Keisha, what's your question?
It's not really a question. It's more like a statement. And I just want to say thank you for everybody that's here. I feel like we're already on the same page when we think about where the view is coming from. And you said a biblical standpoint. And that was just like confirmation that I'm in the right vision board group. So thank you, everybody.
Oh, thank you so much, Keisha. I appreciate that. That's so wonderful. Hey, we are put here for a reason, and you know, God works in all the most mysterious ways ever. So here we are, and I hope that you get everything out of this that you need. So thank you for being here. All right, ladies, this was my vision board, and I don't share this, okay? Vision boards are not supposed to be shared. They are yours. Okay, but I will show you mine because I love you and because that's what the workshop is about. So this was my vision board from last year. As you can see, as I go on here, I'm very focused obviously on health and exercise and good food and stuff. And then also my business, I wanted my son to be able to have a walker. I wanted a new home, which this is one of the things that did not happen, but that's okay. I wanted to go to Germany, which did happen. And then I always put universe checks, and I included those in the pamphlet as well, because I like pulling money. And that's actually been one of my bigger successes. So this is my physical vision board, all right? There are ways to make digital vision boards, and I'm gonna pull my camera off here for a second, excuse me, while you look at my hand. But this, for example, could be, let me show you, let me see if I can flip my camera around. Can I? Yes, I can. All right. Okay, so this could be, for example, a digital vision board. And you can put, as you can see, this one is more images. Some people might want to put more letters, more writing. Okay, you might even want to make one that you can just put quotes on, and you can actually push yourself. So you can make different ones. Nobody says it has to be just one. Some people even make like a vision board for January, a vision board for February, and for every month they make one, or for different parts of their life. So you might have like a vision board in the kitchen of your health foods that you want to have, or you know, in your office of the monetary things you want to accomplish, or with your kids of the things you want to accomplish with them. You make one vision board with your kids and put it in their bedrooms. So there's a lot of different ways to play around with this, and all you need to do is find what works for you. So Anne had a really good idea with this too. Anne, what are you going to do with your vision board that you had said?
Because I had said that I wanted to do a digital one on the computer, so I was thinking that I could use it as a screensaver, and then it would show up and I'd see it every day.
Yep, I think that is a great idea. That's a wonderful idea, because then it's always there, and you could even put it on your phone as like a cover, right?
True.
So whatever works for you, the whole point is for you to see this, okay? As you can see, my board, okay, was right up there. It's the first thing I see in the morning when I walk into my office. And even though I take about maybe 15 seconds just to scan everything, right? Because I pray, I do all my ritual before. You take 15 seconds, just look at all the pictures. That's it. That's all the work that is really needed for a vision board once it's already up on the board, because all your energy is put in as you make the board itself. So who's going to decide? Let's see who's going to make a physical board and who's going to make a digital board. Let's go around and see, what do you think would work better for you? I'm going to start with you, Monica, because you're right there on my screen. You think a digital or a physical will work better for you?
I will do a physical because I believe for me, seeing it physical is much better. And I want to experiment with that. I've been hearing about it, and I know my daughter did one, and I always want to do. So I want to take this time to take that. And then later on, you know, bring it into digital. But I believe just the challenge to get a physical is something that I want to do. Yeah.
Okay, super, great. So we've got one physical. Emily just put in the comment that she's gonna make both. So good for you. You're gonna be like super envisioned. Sonia also said she's gonna make a physical one. Very nice. I guess you guys are in places that you can't talk, but that's okay too. No problem, absolutely at all. Keisha, do you think you're gonna make a physical one or a digital one? That was a weird sound.
I'm in the process of making a physical one right now.
Perfect. 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 Nice. Beate? Beate there? Can Beate talk? Beate might not be able to talk. What about you, Anne? You're going to make a physical? No, you already said you were making a digital one, right?
I'm gonna make a digital one, maybe more, just because I'm kind of paper challenged, and one of the goals is to be, you know, have less physical stuff. But I print it out, you know, a copy to put, like you said, in one in the kitchen, one in the, you know, different areas.
There you go.
So we'll see. But I'm gonna start with digital. And maybe
Nice.
print
So
out.
that's a great way to start. That's a great way to start, because yeah, you can do a combination and just copy and print. Beata said she's making a physical one too. Perfect. Very good. Very good. Whatever works for you, just make it work. As long as you get to see it a couple of times, maybe once or twice at least throughout the day, it will be doing its work for you. All right. So before you start, okay, and I even included this in the PDF, one of the things that is very, very, very important, because this is how the vision board works off, is the energy that you bring to it, right? So I always say before you start, you should always take a couple of minutes and either, I don't know about you, I have this right here. If you know what this is Palo Santo, okay? I love Palo Santo just because it's a very nice smell for me. I use it for aromatherapy to help myself calm down, to bring myself get myself grounded. Other people might light a candle. You might turn on some nice music. Excuse me, this is why I have tea. You want to be in a calm place, and you want to be able to manifest and to bring the energy of what you're looking for this new year onto the paper or onto the computer, right? So I always start making a list or brainstorming basically of like the general things I want to achieve. Like I said, you don't need to know exactly how you're going to get there. All you need to know is what you want, right? So you can sit and you can think of a couple of different headers, a couple of different goals, or even just topics, okay? So for example, I included in the PDF a whole list of different headings that you can use, right? You don't have to use these physically, right? Nothing, like I keep saying, nothing is etched in stone. It's how you feel. So you might want to have one part that's for relationships. You might want to think about your career. You might want to think about your health, your family, your social life. Everything that has to do with your life can be shown on a vision board. And then one thing that people get very confused on is they think they have to look for what they actually want. So for example, okay, I'm just going to show you this. I want a house, right? I'm like, our family, our big goal is a home. this is not the house I want, but this is a nice little home with a big yard with lots of trees. And that's the kind of feeling I want to have for my home. So you don't have to really look at exactly what you want. You're looking more for the energy and the feeling that it gives you to be there or to have whatever you're looking for. So for example, I put a lady working here with a big, big smile while she's on the computer, because very often when I work, I get stressed out. But I don't want to feel stressed out while I work. I want to feel happy. I want to portray that to people, right? Because that I love doing what I do. So this is the feeling I want to have while I'm working. And that's the feeling that I'm getting from the board when I look at it every day. So you'll have to focus more on the feeling instead of the actual images that you're going to portray. Okay, it might be, for example, I picked out this one for my new vision board. This is a runner. She's super happy. Okay, I want to start running again. I used to be a runner. My husband says I should not run anymore because I'm getting too old. It's one of those things where we're like, we fight about. But I love her expression. I love her feeling. She looks nothing like me. Okay, I don't want to be this skinny. I don't want to be #1 in running, but I want to feel like this. So I'm going to put this on my board because when I see her going, yeah, and she's happy. And that's the feeling that I'm trying to portray. So whether it's through images or whether it's through words, which I also have a couple of here for example, feel whole, if you can see this. Right, I found this in a magazine as well. What is this? Finish strong, feel whole. I want to feel whole. I want to feel happy. I want to feel taken care of. So I'm going to look at those words, and those are going to bring the feelings into my body, into my mind, into my vision, into the universe, which will then call things and bring them to me. Does that make sense to you? Everybody, does that make sense? Yes, sort of. Thumbs up, yay, no, not at all, so confused. Okay, thank you, ladies. I appreciate that. All right, so that is the point of the vision board. It's all about feelings. There's no right or wrong way to do it, okay? But you have to focus on what is going to make you feel better. And that's everything that you want to put on here. So you can put, and I included again, you can use inspiring words, okay? You can write, I am worthy, I am creative. Things like that always work. I am, we know, is the most powerful words in the universe. I am. Cover your board with I ams. At least that worked for me the first couple of years, right? Or you can write affirmations. You can put quotes as well, things you want to remind yourself of. However, they say, and this is something you'll discover for yourself, they say when you write things by hand, it is more powerful than when you stick things, right? When you cut things out and stick stuff on things. So if you can, I have horrible handwriting. This is why this does not work for me. And this is why I refuse to do this, because I will never be able to read my vision board. For me, this works. But if you can, and if you have nice handwriting, get some markers, okay? Draw on there, write the words, I love myself, put money signs all over, put stars, put hearts, whatever you need, write and draw and actually become physically creative with your board. Okay, this is obviously going to be a little bit more difficult to do on the digital one, but on the digital one, you can use words that are cut out, you can write on text. But as we know, writing by hand has a lot more power and pulls a lot better energy from the universe than just typing. All right, so that's another thing that's very important for those of you that are making physical vision boards. All right. Any other questions? That's before we move on. Any questions, any comments, any ideas? Monica.
No, it's pretty good. I like the ideas you are giving us. So I'm very, very taking my notes too. So
You're always
very
a note
happy.
taker. I love that you take your notes.
Yeah, because their ideas are coming in my mind and I want to get it done before they escape.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the whole point.
Mhm.
Good. Keisha, I know you're already physically working on it. That is great. I'm going to start in a couple of minutes as well. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Anne, Emily, Sonia, before you leave?
Oh, I was just gonna say, even though mine's digital, I do have my computer screen. I can, have a touch screen, so I can
Oh.
actually take like I forget what you call it. Not a pen, but something sort of softer, and
Yeah.
and write in my handwriting. So I would be able to do that.
Perfect. Perfect. Good, good, good. See, I love technology and how nowadays we can combine certain things. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's good. That'll be more powerful than if you just type it. Perfect. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Apart from that, there's really not much that you need to know for a vision board because you need to do it as it feels good for you, right? I did include a couple of things in a couple of pictures for you in the PDF that I sent out. I also included the Bank of the Universe checks in case you want to fill them out. I love the Bank of the Universe checks. You have no idea how powerful these are. These come from the law of attraction. I'll tell you a secret. I had 3 checks on my vision board last year. 2 of them were reached to full completion, and the last one was about $2,000 short. But hey, it was not bad. I was very happy. And I looked at them and I went, I put down April. That's when we get our taxes back. And it was exactly the same amount. And I hadn't even thought about that when I made the vision board. $1 million. Yes, $1 million checks, Keisha. That's it. That's what you have to do. Yes, put it for $1 million. It doesn't matter. Put 50,000, 100,000, 1 million, 10 million, 1 billion. Doesn't matter. Somehow the universe will get it to you. I hope it gets $1 million to you. Now, Keisha, if you get $1 million, hey, I request, okay, no, like 5%, that's all. Okay, 2%, 1% is fine. Because I helped make that vision come true. No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm completely kidding. But that is the power of a vision board. You can, thank you. Keisha says absolutely in the chat, by the way, for everybody. Mwah. But that is the power of a vision board. You can put whatever you want to on there. You don't need to know how it happens because it might not even happen this year. It might happen next year or the year after that. But because you've already put it out there and because you've asked for it, we all know God is God's timing. The universe is not our timing. Okay? It is the universe's timing. It is God's timing. It is whenever the time is right. So put it on there because even if you don't know if it's going to happen this year, like I didn't get to Arizona because I really wanted to really like, I have to see the Grand Canyon one day. That was my plan. But I got to Germany, which was below. And 4 years ago, I made a vision board that had New York on it because my dream was to go to New York. 2 years ago, I went to New York, but it had to be on my vision board for a year or two. Actually, it was on my board for 2 years. And it was in my mind for many years before that, before it actually came to fruition, because that is when the timing was right. So don't be afraid of what you're going to put on this board or on your digital, on your computer. It doesn't matter. Even if it doesn't come through this year, I promise you, minimum 10% of what you put on that board will come true. Minimum. And the longer you work on it, the more possibility and the more, the more results you'll actually receive. And you'll be able to get more than just that 10% or 20%. You'll be able to achieve your whole board at one point. And you won't even know how you did it. You'll just say, wow, it worked. The universe does listen to my vision. God does listen to my vision. God does supply. He always does. We already know this. But this is your reminder that you have the power to make it happen. And that's what the vision board is for, guys or ladies. All right. I'm actually done with what I need to teach you. This was a much shorter class than I thought. do you have any questions? Does anybody have any comments, anything at all that they would like to share? Some of your dreams, what you're going to put on that board? I'd love to hear from you.
I'm excited what you're just sharing about the check. I know 2020 and 2021 was very challenged, but always in my mind, I always say God will provide. And I don't know how he's gonna do it, but he always do that. And I was doing my counting, how much income we'll have through 2022, and it's just basically is replacing the income. I'm the middle of divorce, and God is replacing his income by me making the income. So that's a way for him to provide. And so, and of course, he knows what I need, but now that I have this vision, I would love to live more, freely, that I can even go on vacation and I can have a better home. So it's a very exciting feeling that, wow, I can dream, but sometimes you stop you from dreaming, but just know that God owns everything, and it's just you have to ask, and you will receive, right? We don't know when, but he will do. And I even know that I will end up the year with the income that I need to be independent. So even before that, I visioned it, God already provided. So it is just awesome.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Yep, God is good. He's great. Anybody else have something to share before I close this down?
I'll share. So last year when I wrote down my vision, one of my visions was to move into my home that I bought 3 years ago at the end of the year. And my tenant moved out in December. So I'm now in the process of renovating my home to move in there. Keep your dream alive. You'll get your home. So my goal now is to continue to run a business in my home. God told me to take a leap of faith and just be done with my career that I thought that's where I was supposed to be doing. But he told me to end your career and start this new journey of transportation with me. So I started this journey of transportation, and for a month, he has been great. My vision this year is to continue to move forward in that direction and hope that he brings the income that I need to sustain.
Amen. He will. You already know that he will.
Definitely.
No doubt on that. Congratulations. That's wonderful. Yep. Writing works the same way. When you write down your goals, that's why I was saying it's more powerful to write down your goals. And now with this vision, if you actually combine it, you can combine it and you can make a vision board, write yourself a letter about everything that you want to achieve that's on that board, and put that letter away, or write it in a journal, and then just don't look at it again. And after a year or so, when you look back, you'll notice how many of those things have really come true. So that's a wonderful example. Thank you so much, Keisha, for sharing. Anybody else have anything to share? Any questions before I close this out?
I'm curious about the checks. Like how do you fill that out, and where do you get your amount from, and what I mean, your I guess your theory behind that.
Okay, so the theory behind it comes from manifestation, and that the law of attraction says that whatever you see, you can manifest yourself and you can make happen. So these are actually signed. The ones that I use are signed, as you can see, the universe. Okay, and then what you're supposed to do is you fill it out. You can put the date. It has a place just for the date. Can you guys see this? I hope you can. This is like really not zooming properly, not holding. Either way, the check itself. Let's see if this one shows a little bit better. Okay, so for example, okay, so the check itself, you can put a date. The date, I always put when I want the money. So for example, here I put April 2021. because I just picked 3 random months out of the year. I picked August, December, and April for last year. Okay, this year I'm going to do it a little bit different. But, and then you put, for April, for example, I wanted to get an extra $5,000. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I did not have a job at that time. I just started building my business, so I had no clue. But you can put an amount. You can think about it if you want to. You shouldn't, though. Okay, because just like I believe Sonia wrote, $1 million. Hey, you can make $1 million happen, but you don't need to know how. If you want to be a little bit more realistic, like I became a little bit more realistic over time and realized, okay, I'm not going to make $1 million check happen. It could, you never know, but I want to reach my goals and I want to make it a little bit more realistic. So I put one for 7,000. I put this one for $5,000. Although in my world, for me to get an extra $5,000 when I didn't have an income was like non-realistic, right? Already. And then you write pay the amount, obviously pay $5,000 to the order of, and then you put your name, okay? Because you want it to be given to you. You don't want it to be given to other people. You want it to be given to you. So I put my name, Desiree Vogt, and then the universe has already signed it. So you don't even need to sign it, and you just put it up there. And that's the same thing with these. So this one says pay, the dollar amount, and then memo in case you need it, and then for bearer and the date up here. So you can fill these out with whatever number you have in mind. Last year, like I said, I did $5,000. I did one for 7,000. I did one for 10,000. They all came true. Well, all except one completely. But still, you know, I made some extra money, which is wonderful. But do it as feels right to you. If you want to put $1 million on there because that's going to motivate you, hey, put $1 million on there. I'm not one to tell you. If all you can think of is right now, okay, I just want to have $200 extra that month, and I'm going to use that for a massage. All right, so put one on there that says $200 and put on the side to be used for a massage or something, you know, whatever works for you, whatever you want those checks for. You can print as many or as few as you need and put them all over that board. Okay? That's how the money part works. If you don't want to go into complete like making a check and deciding exactly how much, just put a whole bunch of dollar signs all over. Okay, I've done that a couple of years too before I saw that the checks really do work for me. But that's something I built up for. So do whatever works for you right now, experiment. Okay, there's no guarantee that it'll all come true anyway, but you at least start to get your mind into that thought system of I'm attracting money. I'm a money magnet. I can make this. I'm going to get this. You know, money is around me. I live in abundancy. Just by you looking at that board and seeing those things, your mindset will change and you will start to live different and you will start to attract different things. That's the theory behind that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Anything else? That was a good one. I love that. Nope. All right, ladies. Well, I will give you this extra time as I'm cutting off. Yep, 20 extra minutes. Awesome. Perfect. This is a good time for you to sit down, take a couple of minutes, do some breathing, light a candle, play some music, whatever. If you have time to make your board, even if you don't right now, while everything is fresh in your mind, I do suggest you sit down and just do a little bit of brainstorming, see what visions come, jot them down and have them ready for when you are physically able to do your board. Okay, when you have all the tools, obviously to make a vision board, you will need, you know, paper, magazines, images. You can print stuff from your computer too. Nobody has to say you need to get magazines and copy them out, right? And cut them out. You can print all the images from your computer if you want to and just use those on the board. It really doesn't matter where you get it from. But it'll take you a little bit. I suggest you take about an hour to do it. But right now, sit calmly, decide, put your vision on paper. And when you have the time and when you're ready to do it, or like Keisha's doing it right now, make that vision, make that happen, and then place your board in a place where you will see it every day, even if it's just for a couple of seconds, okay? It might be, if you have an office space, great. If not, put it in your closet on a wall, put it in your bathroom on the behind the door. You know, it doesn't matter, as long as it's somewhere where you can see it. Put it at the entranceway of your house. Put it in your, I'm always in the kitchen, so put it in the kitchen, for example, right? Whatever works for you, that's where you need to put it and place it. And hopefully next year, or actually maybe December, I'll check in with you and see how many of the things on your vision board came true, because I would love to hear about that. That is my suggestion to you. Thank you so much for joining me on the workshop. I really appreciate it. I hope that these tips helped you and that you got some good ideas. I'm going to stop the recording now. Bum, 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 bum.